Hi, this is Jim Ward. I'm CEO of BrainSell, and welcome to the Growth Enablement Madness podcast, because we are mad about growing companies and we're mad about scaling companies. And we don't mean mad because we're angry. We mean that we want to get folks going. We want them to grow their businesses. We want to apply technologies wherever we can that allow them to scale. So today we have a guest with us. And but first, let me introduce my sidekicks. I've got our Vice President of Marketing, Sarah Reed, who's my trusty sidekick. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Jim.
How are you today, Sarah?
I'm great. Sun's out, so I'm happy.
Okay, good. Well, that's what we're going to call you in this podcast. You're happy. And then we also have our podcast producer extraordinaire, Brian Anderson. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Jim. How you doing today?
You're not happy. You're, what are you?
I haven't had enough coffee. And
Okay.
it's just, it's one of those days.
Yeah. All right. I want to introduce our guest today, who is Gianna Scorsone. Do I say it right?
You got it. That's pretty darn close.
I want to bring the Italian sound, like mozzarella,
Well,
pappardelle.
pappardelle, very good.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a hard N, so it's Gianna.
Gianna
There you go. Scorsone.
Scorsone. And Gianna is, well, you're with Aircall.
I sure am.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your position and role at Aircall. What do you do?
I am general manager of North America. So essentially that beautiful revenue target that gets attached to a territory is within my wheelhouse. So all of the teams that focus on the customer journey, everything from lead gen, partnerships, integration, the master agent channel, all the way through the AEs, onboarding, and of course, customer success.
So you cover it all.
Cover it all.
You're leading the charge.
Yeah. For better or worse, we'll see.
Well, I think it's for better.
I think so too.
Yeah. And so I love telephony products, which is why we've brought you into the portfolio. We did a lot of research around Aircall. I think you have some unique differentiators. But can you tell me? I've explained what growth enablement. Maybe I should re-explain it for you and how I look at growth enablement. I look at it from really 2 points of view. Growth enablement meaning that we help customers obviously grow their revenue, but also help them to improve EBITDA or net profit through scaling. And so I guess my question for you is, what does growth enablement mean to you at Aircall?
Well, I have to admit, I knew this question was coming, so I turned to the old faithful Dr. Google. She's really smart.
Yep,
she always
she
gives
is.
me a great answer. And I got to tell you, #1 in SEO results. BrainSell, I'm impressed. There you were.
Yes, that's a surprise, isn't it,
I-
Sarah?
No,
Sarah.
No,
it isn't a surprise, actually.
that's awesome. I'm glad
And
you
that's Brian. He's
Yep.
our podcast producer, but also moonlights as our content marketing manager in his spare time.
It was pretty cool. So there you were. And I got to read a little bit more about your definition. And I love what you wrote about people, process, and technology, right? And I agree in the ideology that it's not just about how do you help a company, drive more EBITDA, more profits, on the precipice of scalability. But it's also that convergence of all three, right? How do we help enable the growth of people?
Yes.
We need a strong process in order to do that. We need strong technology in order to do that.
Right.
And the convergence of all three is really what's going to allow for that growth in regards to EBITDA, profits, as well as top line.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very hard. I've found over the years, and doing this for 27 years, that if you don't have your people and process right, you can insert any technology that you think is a silver bullet, and that silver bullet usually goes right through your foot.
Yeah.
So it's a wasted investment. It's a waste of time. It turns the people off from reusing technologies in the future. So people and process, very important to us. And I'm not sure I mentioned this to you, but we also have a consulting side of the house, which is mini Accenture-like. Sorry, Accenture, it's less expensive It's faster delivery, and it's more mid-market aligned. But we do a lot of what's called blueprinting here, where we go and we actually blueprint the people and process first before we apply the technology. And then we apply the technology. And what does that do? It mitigates risk for the client, increases return on investment.
I love that. You need the foundation, right? If that foundation isn't there, if that infrastructure, isn't there, it doesn't matter what tool you have. You haven't enabled people to find success. Yeah.
And it's funny that you use the word foundation, because blueprint is an analogy to an architectural blueprint. You would not want to build a house and just say to a builder, put up a box Colonial for me, right? Because when you come back, sure, he's put up a box Colonial, but the bathroom's over there. We've not pre-plumbed for we've got 7 kids coming. I don't have 7 kids coming, I don't think. But you want to make sure you have a good plan. And then, of course, what's at the bottom of the house? The foundation.
There we go.
Gotta have a solid foundation, or what will happen to the house?
It's gonna fall down.
That's exactly right.
Right?
So
or
you
can't
and I
build it as tall.
No, exactly. Boy, you and I are right in line.
We sure are. Sure are,
man.
Jim.
We could just go on for
Bentley education we got.
Oh, I wanted to bring that up. Yes. So before we go on, I have a couple
can't
things.
believe you didn't lead with that, Jim.
I know. What's the matter with me? I guess I'm out of practice here. So
Clearly,
let's talk about.
I need to lead the foundation here.
Yes. Let's talk about 2 things. One of the things that we were aligned on is we're both Bentley alumni.
We sure are.
We went there at different times. So, do you remember the little dinosaurs in the pond?
Jim,
they probably weren't
I was
there.
excavating for those dinosaurs.
Oh, they were alive when I was there. Anyways, what did you go for at Bentley? What was your?
I was a marketing major.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And I was a business management major.
Yeah.
Great school.
Fantastic school.
Yeah. So
Fantastic.
shout out to Bentley University, what used to be called Bentley College. A shout out to you all out there. We'll send them a copy of this. So
I like that idea.
Yeah. Good. But what was really exciting for me is. You started to go down into another business when you were very little, and it was a hot dog business.
It was a dream.
It was a dream. We have dream meetings here, so tell us a little bit about that dream.
Well, close to my house, I grew up in New York City. There was this little triangle in the road on 2nd Avenue, very big avenue, and there was this woman who had a hot dog cart, and I love hot dogs. Love hot dogs. Have one on my birthday every year. And I thought she was a genius. Now, I would go to the park, come back from the park. I was hungry. And there she was.
Yep.
Perfect product placement. It was in the middle of a big avenue where, taxi cabs would drive down. They'd stop for lunch and grab a dog. This is how it was done. And I was so impressed by her business, I wanted to emulate her. And my mom tells me that over the years, it became not only hot dogs, I discovered how many more products you can infuse in a hot dog cart. So sodas and pretzels and chestnuts and shish kebabs. I wanted it all.
Think of where you'd be today.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
What are your ideal toppings that you would put on a hot dog, or that you do put on a hot dog? Because I feel very passionate. I like hot dogs too.
You have no idea how happy I am that you asked this question. All right, here's my hot dog that I have every year on my birthday. You take a potato bun, and you're going to open it up, and you're going to scoop out the thick side of the bun. You know how hot dogs all have one thick side, not the New England style. We're talking the regular style hot dog bun.
Okay.
So we're going to scoop out one side. You're going to take a slice of pretty crappy American cheese, the kind that you take out of the plastic. You fold it in half to break it.
The best kind.
The best kind. And you're going to put it down on the bun because it's going to serve as a barrier to the moisture, and it locks in flavor. Okay?
And it melts a little bit too, doesn't it?
Exactly. You're going to take some baked beans and put them in that beautiful scooped out section.
Okay.
You're going to put a little bit of ketchup down. You put your hot dog down, a little bit of mustard. We're then going to go with sauerkraut.
Yes, sauerkraut.
A little bit of corn relish, and then sauteed onions. And you have got the most delicious hot dog you can possibly imagine.
That beats
that's all the
my
time we have
ketchup,
today.
mustard, and relish toppings.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming to the podcast. We really appreciate it, Gianna. All right. So that was a great question. That's all of those were right in line with me again. So Bentley, hot dogs, good. So back to talking a little bit about Aircall. Can you tell me how does Aircall approach the growth goals of its clients? Do you have some thoughts around that?
Yeah. Firstly, these conversations need to happen early and often, right? Mm-hmm. When we sit down and do a demo, we want to understand what the growth targets are, how a customer might expect to grow, and really what they're looking for to align from day one. Like you mentioned with BrainSell, we heavily focus in the SMB space, and let's face it, like the expectation that they have is that they're going to grow exponentially, right? So Aircall was built understanding that this was the expectation: fast scale, seasonal scalability, right? Whatever that use case might be. So while we're here to help discuss the call capacity or use cases, maybe new team adoption that might need another integration enabled, you don't have to plan months ahead. And that's the beauty of Aircall. The whole premise is that we scale together in real time.
Okay. And so flexibility for scale. But the other thing that I found amazing, and maybe I'm not versed enough, was you've got a fixed price. Yeah. It's not a usage cost.
Yeah, that's right. It's easy, right? It's predictable. Right. It's easier for budgeting. So we're easy.
How many times have I talked to an SMB style, small, medium-sized business, and when they hear there's a consumption cost, and I know that's a big tends to be a trend, is consumption costs for data, et cetera. But, for an SMB to be able to say, I don't know what I'm going to consume. And in this case, they get a fixed price for their phone service per user. Isn't that right?
It's exactly right. We wanted to create a model that's predictable, that can fit within the SMB budget, understanding that a lot is still getting figured out. There's seasonality that comes with a lot of it, where that seasonality can be detrimental to one's growth because of the added costs involved as well. And we wanted to help mitigate that. And that's really where these conversations came into play that I mentioned of early and often, to make sure that we're always aligned with understanding the needs of our customers and how to best evolve with them.
Have you seen the technology fuel the growth of employees and then in turn the business? Have you seen that? Have you been able to create a metric around it?
Absolutely. Look, information is power, right? It's what's at our fingertips, really help our clients create stronger experiences, deeper relationships with their customers. I was thinking about this idea of, what technology is bringing to the modern day marketplace today. And I don't know, I just thought of this cool concept. And if we think about it, right, we've got a tool like Aircall, which is great, and it's even greater with integrations. And if you think about implementing it with a CRM or a help desk, and all of a sudden you get to push and pull all of this information, right? So let's say I order a mattress and I want to check up on my mattress order. I call up. Modern day consumer expects that company to know who you are, what you ordered, and potentially why you're calling before even having to go through the whole spiel, right? If I get transferred to someone else, I don't want to have to go through that again. I expect them to know it. So there's all of this history, all of this data that's expected. And started thinking about it. I'm like, gosh, that's really emulating that small town general store of years past.
Right.
How cool is that? That now modern day consumers are expecting that same personalized experience, not having to wait a long time to get touched, getting that priority because they're frequent customers, and having all of that know-how, all of that, order history right there. I just thought that was so neat. And so how does that translate into empowering our reps, right? As you mentioned, and our customers' reps. They're able to have more informed conversations. They're able to think critically because they have all of this data at their fingertips, right? We've got a coaching component, call whispering. I think it's so neat, right? A manager can hop on and help coach in real time or post if that's more comfortable to really help elevate the skill and the approachability.
So you mean that they're able to whisper in the person's ear?
Yeah.
That's so cool. And so they're coaching.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do that with Sarah's calls.
Well, that functionality, when I
so.
saw that, like blew me away when I saw, I'm like, that's a game changer. Sonia and I had a whole conversation around it because it's just amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's really neat, right? There's no better example and no better opportunity than to coach in the moment, and this
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
gives you the opportunity to do that at scale, which is
Right.
pretty unbelievable. And then lastly, I'd also say how we can really help is through reporting and analytics. It's super easy to access, super easy to
Yep.
digest, and as we mentioned, right, we're really focused to catering to the SMB market who may not have robust data analytic teams and IT infrastructure teams to help get set up and interpret all of this data. That means that managers and reps can make really smart decisions off of very easy to understand, easy to access reporting. That could mean a missed call report, and then
Yeah.
you staff better based on those needs. It means that your reps aren't idle, so they're not getting bored. It means that they're utilized at full capacity where they feel really great about themselves and are more proud, building passion, loyalty, engagement, all of that good stuff. People want to do a good job. And so it's really neat to think about all of the different ways that we're not only helping our customers elevate and train and coach, but also really allow them to succeed.
And it's so easy to use. That's the other surprising thing. It's really simple. It's really easy to use. And I get our reporting analytics all the time via email, so I'm able to look what's gone on for the week, for example. So I find it terrific. By the way, we did create an integration of Aircall with Sugar CRM, and we're doing a few more. But we just got a purchase out of France for the integration.
Fantastic. That's
so-
awesome.
So you benefited, and I'm not sure you know who it was, but yeah, that's a good thing to have. As the
Well, I
integrations,
look forward to those North America leads because
Yes.
that's my territory.
That's your number.
That
We talked
sure
about that
is.
at the
That
top.
sure is. But we're one team, so I
Right.
like France as well. I sure do. But no, we're thrilled to have the Sugar CRM integration. As mentioned, what I love about and really why I joined Aircall, it's a great product, but we're even better when you integrate with different technologies.
Right.
That's the power behind it, right? That's where you really create that growth enablement that we were talking about.
What other CRMs do you integrate with?
We also integrate with Salesforce, with HubSpot, and then also on the help desk side with Zendesk.
Okay.
We've got Gorgeous, Customer. We've got
I'm sorry.
over.
Were you just describing me? Gorgeous customer. I'm not a
Look at
customer.
Oh,
that.
God.
You're not a customer then.
Dun
yeah.
dun ching.
Oh,
But you are a customer.
awesome. Well,
Yeah, we are. We're users.
I love
Yes,
it,
we are
Sarah. I
users.
love it. Yeah. We have
everybody got suddenly uncomfortable, I noticed. I
Yeah,
was like, oh
it was
my
a
God.
little creepy.
Yeah, he went over. He went over the edge. My rap name is Tufa, by the way, just so you all know.
Why is that?
I always go Tufa.
Oh,
Not sure that was a real laugh, Sarah.
no, it actually is.
Anyways, on to just if you remember, that's my rap name. It's on my sneakers too.
Nice.
Yeah. What were we saying?
We were talking about CRM integrations.
Oh, the different
and the power
integrations.
of
Sure, we
Yes.
sure
Aircall
do.
is the integration. With
Yes, and
other-
we're partners
the
with
tech
many of
stack.
those customers that you mentioned, many of those vendors that you mentioned, because they're all good products.
We sure are.
Yeah, so they all lend their. It's all bringing it together, right? So, can you tell me a little bit about what's new and exciting at Aircall right now?
I can. In developing our roadmap, we always think about how can we make professionals have better conversations. That's driving the right information, creating personalized experiences. We want to enable our customers to have really deep and meaningful connections with their customers. And that means that we're going to roll out some really cool stuff that goes beyond logging data. It's going to help reps work smarter. There's going to be more conversation intelligence for sales and support teams.
Oh.
So it's all about tools to further streamline sales and support productivity. And as you mentioned, really strong integrations. We anticipate, most growth and impact from the channel and from the partner marketplace. And so we're heavily focused on our integration strategy.
This brings us to we have a new segment, and we call it the Techtainment section, where we ask some questions that you've not been, you get privy to seeing some of these questions ahead of time, not these. So, are you ready?
I think so, but I might plead the fifth. We'll see what happens.
Okay. What is something that never fails to make you smile?
Oh, when people ask me about me.
Oh my gosh.
We would get along so well. That's
Really?
Like, you ever notice when people bring pictures and you're not in them? It's like, I'm not that interested.
I don't care.
Am I in here somewhere? Because if we're not, let's just move along. Okay. Yeah. All right. I understand that.
And talking about hot dogs.
And talking about hot dogs. Okay. Well, then let's ask this. If you were stuck on a deserted island and only had one meal to eat for the rest of your life, what would that meal be?
Easy. Hands down, it would be pizza.
Oh, not hot
I thought you were
dogs.
going to say hot dog.
No, too rich. I can't do
rich.
Too rich. I mean, come on, a hot dog for breakfast, that's a little much. But pizza, on the other hand, is delicious in the morning. It's delicious hot. It's delicious cold.
Well, it does
different
have that,
toppings. Yeah. You could do a sweet pizza as well as a sort of dessert.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite possibilities with the flavor profile of pizza.
Right, and you could put it right on a hot rock in the sun, and it would heat up in the desert island. And
you sure could.
Yeah, so I can see that. Funny, by the way, I had hot dogs last night. I just realized.
You did. Isn't that funny? Did you have baked beans as well?
I did. Baked beans, sauerkraut.
There we go.
It was delicious. I love hot dogs that way. But no roll. No potato roll. I don't even know what a potato roll is. But
you've never had a potato roll?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
So.
I'm going to creepily ask you for your address after this recording, and I'm going to send you some potato rolls because you should experience them.
Let's make sure we give her the P.O. box, guys. Anyways.
They can't fit hot dog rolls in P.O. boxes, Jim.
Let's give her your address then. I'm just kidding. We'll give it to her. Okay. And then what is something you hated as a child but love as an adult?
Oh, gosh. What is something I hated as a child but love as an adult? I don't know. I ate practically everything. I've always been an eater.
Well,
I guess work.
Did you like vegetables?
I did. I loved all vegetables.
So, okay, yeah.
I know. Yeah. I'm going to answer work.
Work. Okay.
Yeah.
Funny, and I liked work as a child.
I think I did too. Wait, I wanted to be a hot dog lady. That makes no sense.
That's right.
No,
My answer makes no sense.
That's okay. I don't think anybody will put it together until they hear this part. And then they'll draw the line.
I guess so.
So this is where we're coming up against our time, and I want to be respectful of your time, Gianna Scorsone.
There you go. You got it. Jim Ward.
As we said earlier, Irish potato. That's it.
Who doesn't like a potato bun?
Who doesn't like a potato bun? Right. So can you tell us what's next for Aircall? What's happening next? We kind of covered it, but is there anything big that you want to announce here and only on our show?
Only.
And then we get the
exclusive.
We get the exclusive release of what's happening in Aircall.
The exclusive.
Come on.
Well, okay. I can say single sign-on, so better security.
Oh, single sign-on. Okay.
Single sign-on.
Yeah.
We've been in beta mode for SMS. We're going to go with a full rollout.
Is this first ever being told now to the public?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes is the right answer.
Yeah. SMS, yep.
Nobody knows when you recorded this.
Sarah, this is why you're in marketing. And new analytics.
Oh, and new analytics. Give me one of the analytics. Do you know one of them that you're coming out with?
I can't say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like it's really secretive.
It's secretive.
Well, listen, Gianna, this has been awesome to have you on our podcast, Growth Enablement Madness, because we're mad about what?
We are mad about growth enablement.
That's right. And when you Google us, you Google what? Growth Enablement?
Yeah, Dr. Google put in growth enablement.
We're there.
You are, number one.
Awesome. Well, this has been a lot of man. This is our marketing team right here. They're awesome. Right, I've got a great team. So I want to thank you very much for joining this episode. By the way, folks who are listening, you can get our podcast, Growth Enablement Madness, wherever podcasts are found, everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything. It's all out there. So please subscribe. I want to thank today Gianna Scorsone. I don't know why I want to always use the Italian dialect, but I want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Great having you here. I want to thank my team, our Vice President of Marketing, Sarah Reed. I want to thank our Brian Anderson, our production extraordinaire podcast and content manager. I want to also thank Sam Ward for the music intro and outro. I want to thank, I'm going to always get their name wrong, who does it. So Devenio. Are they Devenio Productions?
Devenio
Podcast. They do all the back work for us, so they're awesome. Who am I forgetting, guys? Anybody?
Not forgetting anybody.
Okay, because I need help as I get older. You can see that. Yeah. But anyways, great to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll be talking soon.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Gianna.
Thank you.